The training scene of flight attendants has been shockingly exposed. What secrets are hidden beneath their uniforms? 10 terrifying discoveries on airplanes that will send chills down your spine. As one of the most convenient modes of transportation in the world today, airplanes connect over 200 countries and regions, carrying more than 4.5 million passengers through the skies every day. But do you really understand this small world among the clouds? Statistics show that global air travel exceeds 4 billion trips annually, yet the secrets behind flying remain largely unknown. From cabin design to passenger behavior, from the language of flight attendants to seat selection, this high-altitude domain is not only filled with marvels of science and technology but also hides many astonishing and unexpected facts. In today's video, Earth's Top 10 will take you to explore 10 of the most unbelievable discoveries found on airplanes. Number 10. Blue Feces. In January 2018, a staggering event unfolded in a small village near New Delhi, India. A 10-kilogram block of blue ice plummeted from the sky, leaving many dumbfounded. At first, people speculated it could be an extraterrestrial object, but after investigation, authorities confirmed it was, astonishingly, human waste. What was happening? Although most aircraft waste is typically processed after landing, occasionally, due to aging overflow designs in airplane toilet discharge ports, waste isn't properly managed during high-altitude flights. In the freezing cold, it rapidly solidifies, forming suspended ice blocks. These solid waste masses, unprocessed during flight, are forced to detach and crash to the ground as the aircraft descends. With the ever-increasing number of commercial flights worldwide, the media's extensive coverage of this incident has sparked fresh concerns about blue ice falling from the heavens. At any given moment, up to 10,000 commercial planes may be soaring through the skies globally. This means in-flight waste management has become a hidden risk that many are starting to notice. Whenever we hear the familiar roar of jet engines, we might instinctively look up, a pang of worry in our hearts, fearing an accidental strike by these otherworldly fecal ice chunks. Some have even developed a phobia of feces, medically known as carprophobia. Before the mid-1980s, airplanes used a relatively crude liquid flush system, where waste was discharged into storage tanks. However, due to the freezing temperatures at high altitudes, these liquid wastes could easily leak and solidify, forming frozen fecal clumps that dropped to the ground. Between 1979 and 2003, at least 27 incidents caused by blue ice were reported worldwide. These frozen fecal masses smashed through rooftops, wrecked cars, and even once struck a church in the UK. Fortunately, with the continuous advancement of aviation technology, aircraft sanitation systems have made tremendous progress. Modern airplanes widely adopt closed-loop sanitation systems, which use vacuum extraction to seal waste in special containers, preventing leaks and air pollution. This change has greatly reduced the phenomenon of mid-flight debris, making those early fecal drop incidents increasingly rare. However, this doesn't mean the problem has completely vanished. Even modern aircraft sanitation systems can fail for various reasons, leading to waste leaks or abnormal discharges. In extreme cases, waste could still plummet from the skies. Number 9. The safest seat choice when flying. When boarding a plane, we often weigh various factors: the comfort of the seat, whether it's near the aisle, the scenic view from a window, the legroom, or the seat's proximity to the wings. These elements can shape our overall flight experience. Yet, among these considerations, perhaps the most critical question is, which seat on the plane is the safest? Flying is widely recognized as the safest mode of transportation. Statistics show that the fatality rate in plane crashes is 1 in 8,000, compared to 1 in 112 for car accidents. However, no matter how small the odds, accidents can still happen. Many believe the tail of the plane is the safest, as planes rarely crash backward into mountains, and the tail fin often appears intact in wreckage. The logic follows that, in a crash, the tail might sustain less damage, giving passengers seated there a higher chance of survival. Yet, history shows this assumption isn't entirely accurate. Take the 1977 Tenerife air disaster as an example. In the Tenerife disaster, a KLM Boeing 747 collided with a taxiing Pan Am Boeing 747 during takeoff, resulting in the tragic loss of 234 passengers and 14 crew members. Shockingly, 61 passengers on the Pan Am 747 survived, and all of them were seated in the front of the plane, not the rear. This fact shattered the conventional belief that rear seats are safer. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration conducted a 35-year study, analyzing aviation accidents and passenger fatalities from 1985 to 2020. The findings revealed that the most dangerous seats are often those in the middle of the plane. These seats have a fatality rate of 39%, while the front has a rate of 38%, and the rear is slightly lower at 32%. In contrast, the middle seats in the rear have the highest survival rate, with a fatality rate of just 28%. By comparison, seats on either side of the aisle in the middle of the plane have the highest fatality rate of all, 44%. Another significant study on seat safety came from scholars at the University of Greenwich. Their research showed that seats near emergency exits typically offer a survival advantage, especially when fires spread after a crash, as proximity to an exit can be a critical factor in life or death situations. However, the specifics of a plane crash and varying accident scenarios significantly impact survival odds. For instance, if the tail of the plane takes the initial impact, passengers seated there may face greater risks. Conversely, if the nose of the plane is struck, those in the front seats could be in greater danger. Although studies on plane seat safety yield varied results, overall, choosing a seat in the rear away from the middle section and close to an emergency exit appears to be the best way to boost survival chances. Of course, while seat location does influence safety, luck remains an undeniable factor. Number 8. The most unhygienic food. Frequent flyers know all too well that airplane food isn't exactly delicious, but in the monotonous confines of a sealed cabin, eating often feels like the best way to pass the time. Yet, you may not realize that poor taste is the least of their flaws. Limited by cooking conditions, storage methods, and time constraints, the preparation and distribution of airplane meals often fall short of the hygiene standards of ground-based restaurants. First, the freshness of ingredients poses a major challenge. Since all meals must be prepared and loaded before takeoff, some ingredients may already be past their prime by the time the plane departs. During prolonged storage and transportation, improper temperature control can easily lead to bacterial growth, particularly harmful microbes like E. coli exceeding safe levels. E. coli, a bacterium commonly found in the environment, can cause severe food poisoning symptoms in certain strains, including diarrhea, vomiting, and fever. If ingredients are mishandled or utensils are not thoroughly cleaned during the preparation and storage of airplane meals, it can create a breeding ground for E. coli transmission. In early 1975, a shocking incident occurred on a flight from Tokyo to Paris, where nearly 200 passengers suffered food poisoning from airplane meals. Beyond meals, airplane beverages aren't entirely worry-free either. While bottled water and some sealed drinks are relatively safe, drinks that are mixed on-site or stored after opening raise serious hygiene concerns. If the plane's water circulation system isn't properly cleaned, it can become a hiding place for bacteria and viruses, including microbes potentially carrying fecal contaminants. Although airlines typically disinfect equipment regularly, ensuring every drop of water is absolutely pure is no easy task amid high-frequency flights. Mentioning fecal components may sound alarming, but it points to a broader food safety issue: cross-contamination. Any oversight in the food processing and distribution chain can allow fecal contaminants to enter the food chain, directly or indirectly. For example, if workers handling meat or vegetables fail to strictly follow personal hygiene protocols, microbes from their hands could transfer to the food. In the preparation of airplane meals, where space is limited and the operating environment is unique, the risk of cross-contamination is amplified. Given the potential hygiene issues with airplane meals and drinks, bringing your own food and water is clearly the best way to protect yourself. Number 7. Secret rooms. Long-haul flights can undoubtedly be grueling for passengers, especially in the cramped seats of economy class, where the endless hours in the air often leave people utterly exhausted. Many notice that, despite standing throughout the entire flight and attending to passengers' countless needs, cabin crew members always seem full of energy and professionalism, never appearing worn out, even on extended journeys. In fact, there's a secret behind this that passengers are unaware of. On shorter flights, the crew's rest needs are relatively minimal, as their work hours are brief, often lasting just a few hours. But for transoceanic flights, rest becomes critical for the crew, especially for pilots, who are among the most vital roles on board. Pilots must maintain heightened alertness and energy to ensure flight safety. Therefore, pilots are required to rest at regulated intervals. Their flight and work hours are strictly controlled, typically prohibiting continuous work beyond a certain duration. The design of crew rest areas varies depending on the aircraft type and airline. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA has clear requirements for crew rest areas, which can be summarized as follows. They must be located in a place with minimal disturbance, shielded from noise, odors, and vibrations, to provide a quiet rest environment. The FAA also mandates that these areas have temperature control systems and adjustable lighting. As a result, these zones rarely have windows, as windows would interfere with light control. According to regulations, rest area beds must measure at least 78 inches by 30 inches. This can feel a bit cramped for taller pilots. Additionally, the rest area design must include a changing room with at least 65 cubic feet of space. All rest areas must also be equipped with essential safety features to ensure the safety of pilots and crew members. To prevent disturbances during rest, these areas are typically well concealed. On modern wide-body aircraft, such as the Boeing 787 or Airbus A350, crew members usually access rest areas through a small door, often located on the upper or lower deck of the cabin. Some passengers might mistake this door for a restroom or closet entrance. Approaching it may lead to a gentle redirection by crew members. As flight durations grow longer and crew workloads increase, the need for crew rest areas will only become more critical. In the future, airlines may place greater emphasis on the comfort and privacy of these rest areas, potentially incorporating more advanced facilities and technology to provide an even better rest environment for crew members. Number 6. Secrets of first class. For most travelers, long-haul flights often mean being crammed into economy class, where extended hours in the air can feel incredibly uncomfortable. As airlines gradually reduce first-class seating, the gap between economy and first class seems to widen ever further. Despite the allure of first-class luxury, skyrocketing ticket prices make it feel increasingly out of reach for many. But is there a way to experience this lavish treatment without breaking the bank? In fact, though first-class tickets come with a hefty price tag, a few lucky passengers might snag an upgrade through lesser-known methods. Some try to win over flight attendants with small gifts like chocolates in hopes of securing an upgrade. But this tactic doesn't always work. Of course, someone like the famous actor Christopher Biggins has suggested a riskier approach to upgrades. He recommends slipping a banknote into your passport when handing it to the crew. They might bump you up to first class, or they might have you arrested. Clearly, while this method sounds thrilling, it could land passengers in serious trouble. Once successfully in first class, passengers unlock a world of exclusive perks. First-class travelers not only gain access to dedicated VIP lounges at airports but also enjoy a range of luxurious services. Many airport VIP lounges offer massage and reflexology treatments, whiskey bars, and lavish buffet. These indulgent amenities provide a relaxing haven for first-class passengers, allowing them to bask in a touch of elegance before boarding. However, what truly sets first-class passengers apart is the opulence of onboard service. Once the flight takes off, first-class passengers enter the most coveted real estate in the sky. In first class, passengers enjoy not only roomier seats and greater privacy but also hidden menus and even dedicated flight attendant service. The service from flight attendants is nothing short of impeccable, offering not just meals and drinks but also personalized attention tailored to passengers' needs. For instance, if you have special dietary requirements or want more entertainment or leisure options during the flight, flight attendants will typically go above and beyond to accommodate. Moreover, first-class passengers enjoy a quieter, more private environment, which is an undeniable luxury, especially on long-haul flights. For those who enjoy forging closer connections with the crew, first class also offers opportunities to interact with flight attendants. Long flights can feel tedious, but if you're a talkative person, building a friendly rapport with the flight attendants might make your journey far more enjoyable. Flight attendant services go beyond just serving drinks and meals. They sometimes engage in light conversation with passengers, sharing amusing anecdotes from flights or personal experiences. These human interactions can make long flights feel more engaging and comfortable. Number 5. The secret language of flight attendants. When flying as passengers, we might hear familiar terms like SCART or service, but there are also many terms that may sound completely foreign to us. Aren't you curious about what they're actually saying? Some terms are used before takeoff or landing, such as red-eye flight. These flights typically depart at night and arrive in the morning. While many have heard this term, its meaning might not be entirely clear. One advantage of a red-eye flight is that passengers can rest on board and hit the ground running at their destination, without wasting daytime hours. A pink-eye flight is similar to a red-eye but departs slightly earlier, though still at night. At the airport, flight attendants use specific terms to describe passengers and boarding areas. For instance, runners refer to passengers who, due to tardiness, rush frantically to the gate to catch their flight, often sprinting to make it. Meanwhile, spinners are passengers without assigned seats, who often wander the cabin, bewildered, searching for a place to sit. The area near the boarding gate is often called the holding pen, where passengers stand while waiting to board. When a flight is about to take off, flight attendants perform a cross-check. This is a safety procedure where 1 or 2 attendants verify that the cabin doors are properly secured to ensure flight safety. Once the check is complete, flight attendants use the internal phone system for an all-call to confirm that all safety measures are in place. After takeoff, the flight attendant's work shifts into a specific rhythm. For example, Prevo is a term encompassing all onboard catering and supply preparations, including drinks, snacks, and meals. Additionally, flight attendants often refer to the airplane restroom as the blue room, a name derived from the blue cleaning fluid used in airplane toilets. Cart service refers to the process of delivering drinks and meals from the cart to passenger seats. Special passengers is a term used for those requiring extra care, such as individuals with mobility issues or those needing additional assistance. Meanwhile, stands for unaccompanied minors, young passengers traveling alone, whom flight attendants take special care to ensure are safe and comfortable. As for their daily work schedules, a common term is turnaround flight. This refers to a flight where attendants depart from one city, fly to another, and then return to their original departure point. Flight attendants use these specialized terms not only for efficiency but also to ensure clear understanding in the complex aviation environment. Number 4. Passenger secrets. Despite continuous improvements in airplane cabin design and safety measures, we must admit that privacy on a plane is virtually non-existent. Due to the cramped cabin space and limited distance between seats, especially in economy class, passengers are practically shoulder to shoulder with others. With no effective barriers behind or beside each seat, it's nearly impossible for window, middle, or aisle passengers to avoid others peeking at their personal belongings or behaviors, particularly when reading emails, checking social media, or handling work tasks. You can easily feel exposed under the gaze of others. The airplane bathroom presents another major privacy vulnerability. Many know that, during a flight, bathroom doors have locks, but these locks aren't always entirely reliable. Inside the bathroom, passengers may be dealing with their most private matters. At such moments, if the door is accidentally pushed open or the lock malfunctions, the chance of another passenger entering skyrockets. In some cases, airplane bathroom doors can even be easily opened from the outside. For the passenger inside, this is nothing short of a complete invasion of privacy. Beyond this, while the crew typically strives to be helpful, they often inadvertently glimpse passengers' personal items or overhear conversations while patrolling the cabin, especially when passengers are adjusting seats, organizing belongings, or retrieving private items. The crew's glances during these moments subtly encroach on passengers' privacy. Worse still, some crew members may enter passengers' seating areas during routine checks, causing discomfort. As more passengers choose to handle emails, documents, or join online meetings during flights, the airplane has become a workplace. However, the open environment makes it unsuitable for highly confidential tasks. Even if you try to keep a low profile, the passenger next to you might still see your screen or overhear your phone conversations. Moreover, in emergencies, the cabin's layout and passenger density often mean pilots and crew need to swiftly access any area. This excessive openness makes passengers' privacy feel all the more unreliable. Number 3. The most ingenious designs. In aircraft design, many seemingly ordinary details conceal profound scientific principles and safety considerations. For instance, the small hole on airplane windows, often called a breather hole, is an essential feature on every commercial aircraft. As a plane ascends during flight, external air pressure gradually decreases, while the cabin's internal pressure remains higher. Airplane windows are typically made of multiple layers of glass. The outer layer bears the pressure difference between the cabin and the outside. Without a proper pressure regulation mechanism, this outer glass could crack under excessive pressure. The breather hole balances the pressure between the outer and middle layers, preventing damage from overwhelming stress. We all know that the black box is crucial for investigating aviation accidents, helping experts reconstruct the sequence of events and analyze the causes. However, despite its name, the black box isn't actually black, it's a vivid orange or red. Why isn't the black box black? This design choice ensures it can be more easily spotted among wreckage after an accident. The bright orange or red color significantly enhances its visibility in debris, increasing the chances of locating and recovering it. Additionally, in the aircraft cabin, the spacing between seats isn't just for passenger comfort, it's also tied to emergency evacuations. According to International Civil Aviation Organization regulations, aircraft seat designs must meet specific safety standards, including whether seats can be quickly removed in an emergency and whether passengers can evacuate swiftly. To this end, seatbacks are typically designed with space to accommodate safety equipment, like life vests and oxygen masks. More importantly, seatbacks are flexible. In emergencies, seats can be adjusted quickly to facilitate faster passenger evacuation. You may not have noticed, but many airplanes' exteriors are coated with special high reflective paint. This coating effectively reduces the impact of temperature fluctuations during high-altitude flights. When flying at high speeds, the aircraft's surface generates heat from air friction. This causes the surface temperature to rise, but reflective paint deflects some of the heat, preventing the plane's exterior from overheating and ensuring the internal temperature remains stable. This coating also mitigates aging caused by ultraviolet radiation, extending the aircraft's lifespan. These seemingly simple yet critically important designs ensure modern aircraft can operate safely and reliably in complex aerial environments, providing an efficient mode of transportation for millions of passengers worldwide. Number 2. The sleeping captain. In the minds of many, being a pilot is undoubtedly a glamorous and coveted profession. Yet, the struggles behind the scenes are perhaps only truly understood by the pilots themselves. Chronic jet lag is a widespread issue. Airlines typically assign multiple pilots to operate long-haul flights, and these flights often cross several time zones, throwing pilots' biological clocks into disarray. To ensure flight safety and reduce fatigue, pilots take turns resting, alternating between sleeping and flying duties. However, this rotation isn't always as relaxing as one might imagine. Pilot sleep environments are often far from ideal. The rest cabins on planes are cramped, with limited comfort in bedding, and the noise of airflow and aircraft vibrations can disrupt sleep quality. Even so, pilots must seize every possible chance to rest, as they know that fatigue at any moment could jeopardize flight safety. Moreover, to maintain peak performance, pilots typically follow strict dietary plans, avoiding excessive caffeine and heavy, greasy foods that could cause digestive discomfort or drowsiness. However, the meals provided by airlines are often simple and monotonous, forcing pilots to frequently bring their own snacks to ensure an adequate energy supply during long flights. For many pilots, packing hometown specialties or healthy snacks becomes their sole source of comfort. Beyond diet and rest, pilots often face sudden challenges like severe weather, technical malfunctions, or passenger emergencies. In these moments, their calmness and professionalism are paramount. To maintain clear judgment under pressure, pilots undergo extensive training and even learn techniques like meditation and self-regulation to stay composed. For those frequently flying long hours, the constant jet lag and psychological stress can lead to mood swings, sometimes affecting their family life and personal health. Moreover, many pilots spend days in different cities, only occasionally returning home to reunite with family. For them, every flight is a prolonged separation, and balancing career and family often leaves them exhausted. Number 1. The secrets of flight attendants' uniforms. Flight attendants' uniforms, as a key part of an airline's image, are far more than just clothing. They carry stringent requirements and meticulous standards that are truly eye-opening. The design of flight attendants' uniforms must not only meet aesthetic and practical needs but also align with the airline's brand identity. As a result, the colors, styles, and accessories of uniforms are carefully selected and regularly updated to stay contemporary. Some airlines mandate specific styles of skirts, pants, or jackets for flight attendants, with even the color and style of shoes explicitly regulated to ensure uniformity and elegance. These requirements go beyond mere appearance. They often reflect how to highlight corporate culture and showcase feminine grace through thoughtful design. Although undergarments are not visible to the public, they are equally vital to a flight attendant's image. To prevent any discomfort or wardrobe malfunctions, many airlines set clear standards for flight attendants' undergarments, including specific requirements for color, material, and style. Some airlines even mandate certain brands or types of undergarments to ensure a smooth, polished appearance. This is partly to avoid visible lines or improper shaping, maintaining the flight attendant's elegant and professional image in all situations. Body requirements are also a significant aspect of uniform regulations. A flight attendant's height, weight, and measurements are often critical factors in determining suitability for the role. For example, many airlines stipulate that flight attendants must fall within a specific height range, typically no shorter than 160 centimeters, with some requiring 165 centimeters or taller. Weight is generally expected to be proportionate to height, with being overly heavy or excessively thin potentially deemed unfit for the image standard. While many airlines don't publicly disclose these specific metrics, a flight attendant's body proportions are typically required to be balanced. Shapes that are too pronounced or too flat may be considered non-compliant. This array of requirements regarding uniforms, undergarments, and body standards has sparked widespread societal debate. Some argue that these highly standardized dress and body requirements can be overly demanding, potentially placing psychological stress and physical burdens on flight attendants. To meet the industry's appearance expectations, some flight attendants resort to extreme dieting or fitness regimens, sometimes striving to maintain an idealized body standard, which poses challenges to their mental and physical well-being. And that wraps up this episode's content. Which of these 10 astonishing airplane discoveries left the deepest impression on you? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.